Welcome back to another episode of SMS Showcase, and this is the Nintendo Switch Lite. And see, you look at this, it's so portable, it's so good. What I love about it is that the fact that you can have a portable console while you're out. And I love the different colors. I went for the black, but this thing is just so great to have while you're out to kill time. You know, for example, in my case, when my partner is out, getting her nails and hair done or whatever, or going shopping, I can sit in the car and I can play this so easy, so compact. I love it. You know, and look, I'm not a main Nintendo player, but if you are Mario crazy, this thing is Mario crazy as well. Of course, that being, you know, Nintendo's baby and all. But the only thing that I have negative to say about this Nintendo Switch is the fact that 98% of the games on the eShop, it's like the equivalent to the PlayStation Store, they're not great. You know, there's only a fair few select games that I'm actually into. I've got Monopoly on there. I've got Saints Row. You got Saints Row the Third. But they need to bring more games. They're the only ones that I'm really interested in playing. All the other ones, 98% of them, are not that great. But again, you can see here, it's nice, lightweight, compact. You don't have the annoying Joy-Cons like the first Switch, right? I give credit to the first Switch, but it's not my sort of thing. I love the fact that this is just one portable gaming console that's really good. And as you can see there, that's the difference between... So that's the first Nintendo Switch, and this one obviously being the second Nintendo Switch. And you see the noticeable difference is obviously the screen is bigger. I don't know if you can tell that from just looking at it. But the Joy-Cons, which on the slide, they slip out and it's a cartridge, right? So that screen is actually just there, and you just slip those slide controllers on, and you can even play it portable via Bluetooth. And it's a great idea, you know, and that cartridge just slides in, and you can also, and that screen will go onto your TV, which is great. But with the Nintendo Switch Lite, this one that I've got, the black version, obviously, it's way more portable, way more easier. You can just have it, like, for example, with me, when I've got it into the back of the seat, you know, I can just slide it out, pop some headphones in, and it's perfect. But yeah, I just love the concept of this. I just wish that the Nintendo eShop had a lot more better games, that 98% of the games weren't useless. And that's what the downfall, if you know, is... Look, in my indication, the two Saints Row games, Saints Row IV Re-Elected and Saints Row the Third, and Monopoly, Family Fun Pack for Nintendo Switch, it's great. But all the other games are not my sort of thing. They need to bring out games like Cyberpunk. And I know you've got the definitive trilogy of Grand Theft Auto on there, but still, they don't have Grand Theft Auto 5. They've only got one Need for Speed game on there. They don't have The Sims. Like, I don't understand. There's this huge market of games that they could have brought into, and they didn't. That's to my example. So as you see there, this is the first Nintendo Switch. I don't know why they say Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch Lite. It sort of confuses people, you know. So I just want to call this Nintendo Switch 1 and then the Nintendo Switch Lite. Or that's why I say Nintendo Switch 2 Lite. Because it's the second version of it. But anyway, as you see here, I'll get to it. Right, so you pop that in, as you saw just then. You got the Joy-Cons on the side, and you can even keep them on, and you just slide it into this cartridge holder, and it goes onto your TV. So you can play it on your TV, or you can play it when you're out, which is a great concept, and I love that. But I just like this version better, you know, where it's just one whole piece. You don't have to slide anything out. You don't have the Joy-Cons. The Joy-Cons seem really annoying, and you can just put it on sleep mode and leave it there, and it's great. And of course, you've got yellow, the yellow color of it. And if we go in here, you've got the blue and the grey or black, whatever you want to call it. But as I said, though, I obviously have this version of the Nintendo Switch, and there it is. And it's great. You know, I love the fact that it's all plastic. It's very durable too. I feel like if you accidentally dropped it, it wouldn't do too much damage or any damage at all, really. Of course, it being plastic, it's going to have some damage, but I've seen some damage tests on this thing, and it holds up pretty good. You have to put a fair amount of even smashing it with a hammer and everything. You have to put, something behind it and actually try and break it. But as you see there, this is waking it up from sleep mode, and you've got all the side panel notifications on there that they constantly update, Nintendo does. And the great thing about this is you don't need to have it connected to the internet. You have it connected to the internet to be able to download your games and everything, but you don't need to have it connected to the internet. It's not like you can't play the console without connecting it. You don't have to. You can play offline and online. So as you see, I've got Saints Row IV re-elected, Monopoly for the Nintendo Switch, and I've also got YouTube on there as well. And you've got the settings down there. So you've got Nintendo Switch Online, News, the Nintendo eShop, you've got an album, controllers, and sleep mode. Now, what I want to touch on is the album as well, right? So with that little icon there, and if you go into album, you will actually be able to save screenshots. Now, the screen recording it's useless, right? It's as useless as it is on Xbox. The screen recording only goes for I think 5 seconds. So and you don't get to pick and choose when you start the recording or end the recording. It just does 5 seconds prior to you pushing the button. So the screen recording thing is just useless, but the screen capture is really good. But there's even a hack with the screen capture in the album. When you go to upload your images, you can actually use Facebook. Now, that's doesn't work really that good. You can use it if you're really desperate for Facebook, but my question is, why would you? Even with that hack, it doesn't work that great. But anyway, you've got the album. The only thing the album is really good for is screen captures and uploading to Facebook, and that's it, But another thing that I also like about this console as well so much is the fact that, as you see here with the setup, right, the main menu setup, it reminds me completely of PlayStation 4's home screen setup, the menu screen, or the home screen as people will say. And it's great because that's what I want. I wanted a PlayStation 4 console, portable console, but because there is none, and the PS Vita is shit, Sony doesn't care about the PS Vita anymore. They released it in 2011, 12, or 13. And they just don't care about it anymore. That's why the Nintendo Switch, Nintendo completely demolished the market, as I said, in a good way, because they care about their console. Whereas PlayStation, Sony, they don't care about the PS Vita anymore. So this reminds me of the PlayStation 4's home setup, where even when you go to download games, as you see there, the same as PlayStation, where they just come up in little squares, and even when they download, they have the little download bar underneath it, just like PlayStation when you download a new game. And the great thing about this as well is you can digitally download all your games. You don't need to have those cartridges, which I thought was a stupid idea, because you got to think about it. We're going into a more of digital world now, digital downloads and all the rest of it. I do understand that people still want cartridges or CDs, like discs, right? And hard copies of their games. But at the same time, the reason why I've gone into digital downloads is because of the fact that we're not living in the same world that we lived in when, PlayStation 2 or the first Xbox came out or anything like that. Back then it was all disc, it was all hard copy, whereas now digital downloads are the way of the future. And I never used to know how to do it, but as soon as I picked up how to digitally download my games, I said, shit, this is way more easier. This is way better. You literally just stick in download the game, and you just have it on all night connected to the internet. No problems. And even with this Nintendo Switch Lite, you can have it in sleep mode, and it will download your games in the background, just like the PS4 in rest mode. So obviously sleep mode is Nintendo Switch's equivalent to PlayStation 4's rest mode. They do the same thing. They both download games when they're in rest mode or sleep mode or whatever you want to call it, right? Which is very good. I love that. You can just pop it on charge, download your game, put it in sleep mode, and just by morning it'll be downloaded. Which I love that. the fact that you can do that. And as I do, I tether this up to my portable hotspot on my phone, and it doesn't even burn through anything. I just would not download games on my personal hotspot on my phone. I would do that for home Wi-Fi only, just to download games on home. But don't use your phone though. Don't use your personal hotspot to download games. Only do it if you're looking for games that you want to download later on, or if you do need it to be connected to the internet for some reason. And even if the Nintendo Switch wants to update, don't let it update on your personal hotspot on your phone. Only do downloads and updates on home Wi-Fi only. But anyway, we'll move on with this, and I'll stop my chit chatter with this. So you got system settings, you got flight mode. So I'll go through this because I'll go through it too fast in the actual video. So you got flight mode. Obviously, that's Nintendo Switch's version of Do Not Disturb. If you're getting a bunch of notifications in or whatever, you got screen brightness, which, as you would see here, that actually dims the screen about there. Yeah. It's weird because when you watch this, right, I'm going dim, a little tiny bit of a difference. You don't really see any difference, really. I mean, you can see slight. If you really look at it, slight differences. It isn't until you get to about there that you start to actually see that it goes fully dim. And then, of course, you put it back up and there we go. But then you've also got... So go back there. You got screen lock. Now, I don't like the screen lock. I reckon that's useless. You know, there's no circumstance that I would need it. You know, I don't have friends that could potentially steal my Switch. So, you know, there's no risk factor. Only have the screen lock on if it's a risk factor, and even then you wouldn't even keep it around the people that you have risk on. So screen lock is only good if you're around a whole bunch of people and, to be honest, you don't really trust them. I mean, of course I have the screen lock on my phone because, you know, there's a much more chance of losing my phone and I need the screen lock on it, or, you know, somebody pinching my phone, than there is with me playing the Nintendo Switch Lite in the car where no one's around and I have no friends in the car or anything, you know. Like, practically what I'm saying is the screen lock for me personally is useless, and it's just annoying to constantly be pushing AAA or BBB or this pattern. I just turn the screen lock off. Even in the eShop, when it asks for your password every time, I turn that off. I don't need all these security features because I'm not in situations where I think my console is going to get pinched or somebody is going to do something, sort of thing. I don't need these extra security features. But it's good. It's on there for people who like it and who want it. It's just a good extra security feature for those other people. You've got parental controls. Now, this is my console. I don't need parental controls. And even for kids, I don't even think it's that useful. I think it's more of a pain in the ass feature. Like, it's great that it's on there, but like, I don't really find, like, even if my daughter got a Nintendo Switch Lite, I would still not have parental controls on there, really, because I just think it's like a lazy way of not being able to parent right. Like, I'm not picking on people who do use parental controls. I'm just saying in my own personal experience, I would rather just take the console off them and tell them to deal with it if it's bedtime or something, than have parental controls on there that sort of like lock them out after a certain time or something like that. You know, I don't quite get the parental controls thing, so that's a useless feature for me personally. You've got internet settings. At the start, it was a bit like in and out. You know, that's only because I was trying to connect it to our motel's Wi-Fi, so maybe that's why it was so bad. But ever since then, though, I haven't had a problem connecting it to my phone. I haven't had a problem connecting it to the home Wi-Fi. Every time it goes to do that connecty thing, I'm always waiting for it to tell me some bullshit reason why it can't connect. That's the only problem I have with the internet settings on this console is I'm always like, I'm not saying it does, I'm just saying you've always got that feeling where you think it's not going to connect straight away. I don't know why. There's no reason for me to actually think that, but I'm just saying it just gives off that vibe, you know, where it's going to give you some bullshit reason why it doesn't want to connect. And then you've got data management. Now, as you can see in my data management, right, so I'll zoom in here. The system memory is 25.8 gigabytes. Now, as you see there is that tiny bit missing. That's because I think I put YouTube on the system memory. I don't find there's any real need for it to be on the memory micro SD card. Sorry. And I got 106 gigabytes left, which that was a 100 and something. I can't remember. I think it was 120 gigabytes actually. So 106 gigabytes with 2 games. Not too bad. And because I said that the Nintendo eShop has a bunch of shit games, 98% of them are shit, I'm not going to be downloading too many games on this unless they release better ones. Come on, how good would Cyberpunk, The Sims, and Need for Speed games be on this console? Like, that would be a selling point for them straight away. But yeah, as you see there, my data management is really good, and I still reckon it's going to be pretty good. I get a fair few games out of 120 gigabytes, so that's pretty good. It was a bit of a pain that I had to go and buy a micro SD card. I reckon that's just something that they should give you standard. You know, think about it. The PlayStation 4 has 500 gigabytes of system storage. 25 gigabytes on the Nintendo Switch is kind of... You should have at least gave us 100 gigabytes of system storage. You know, that would have been more fair. I would have found that more fair. They stooged you with 25. Then we get into the user menu. Obviously, that's me. And the mill is bad. If you look at this, if you look at the mill that I created, that's the best I could do for myself, and it makes me look like a fucking creep. I don't like the mill. They say there's a ton of options. Why do they look so weird? I know it's supposed to be like some cartoon character thing, but they could have done way better with that at least. That was a bit half-assed on their behalf, on Nintendo's behalf. I don't like the mill. I'll use it and I'll do the best I can, but it's awful, as you can see. And there's the mill there. You got this why must I have weird words in here? Ambilo, whatever the hell that is. I don't, just ignore that. I don't care about that. Now you got themes, which is what I don't like is I would have liked it if it was like PlayStation 4 a lot more. In this department of themes, where they let you do at least, download images off Facebook, or even use your screen captures from your album as a background. Now you just got black and white, dark mode and normal white mode. And that's, as you can see, white's just not appealing to me. It sort of is, but it's not, if you get what I mean. Like, I don't really like it. I personally like dark mode. It also goes with the color of the console itself as well. So black mode it is, or dark mode, sorry, should I say. Notifications, all the rest of it, they're useless to me. Again, that's a personal thing, but yeah, useless. Sleep mode, that's like when you want the screen to go, if you want to set it to, if the console's idle, after 5 minutes it goes into sleep mode or something like that, Me, I have it on never, because I want to do that manually. I like the manual controls of it. Bluetooth audio, which is really good actually. You got controllers and sensors that I just skipped there. Which is, if you want to do Joy-Cons, then that's obviously that. But with the Bluetooth audio, now as you see here, I got car multimedia and Anko Bluetooth headphones, which is really good for me, in my personal opinion. Because what that means is, well, for me, it means that when I'm playing the console in the car, if I want to if I don't feel like having the wired headphones that I normally use then I can just hook it up to the car's Bluetooth system, which is good. It gives off a lot more sound. The only reason why I use the headphones is because I kind of feel like if you're not in a secluded area, the noise of gunshot sounds and all the shit that goes on in a Saints Row game would be very annoying for the public, and sort of embarrassing in a way with some of the shit they say in Saints Row. Right, as I said, that's a game that I play. So yeah, it would get really embarrassing. So that's why I just thought I just plug the headphones in. Only I can hear it. It's good. It doesn't annoy anybody. But it's still a good option to be able to have that as a surround sound and hook it up to your car's Bluetooth audio and have that. That's a really good feature. And the Anko Bluetooth headphones are When I go inside, I can have my Bluetooth headphones connected to it instead of always having the wired headphones. So the wired ones are good for the car, and the wireless ones are good for when I'm at home. That's, I just find that a bit easier. It may seem like just use the same pair of headphones, but I'm very fickle like that. I'd rather just leave the headphones in the wired headphones in the car, because I know if I take them inside, I'm going to forget them, and I don't want to wrap them around the console. It's just easier being in the car and me using Bluetooth headphones when I'm at home. And then, of course, you've got the system settings. And that's just all setup stuff, time, all the rest of it. But, yeah, I just love the fact that this home screen here looks exactly like the PS4's one, and it downloads the same way as the PS4. Look, that's what I love. Anything that reminds me of a PS4 has brownie points with me, bonus points. But you've also got, and as you see here with the gameplay of Saints Row Re-Elected, very good. Very good graphics, very smooth. Now, of course, I'm playing this on one hand, so I'm just showing it off a little bit. I'm not actually doing any gameplay with it. But the graphics are really good. And again, I will zoom in here just for a little bit of better extra effect there. But this is zoomed in, and it plays very good. The graphics are nice, they're crisp. I love it. I really do. I get it that it only runs on, 720p or something, I think, or 1080p, or whatever it is, but the graphics are still very nice on this console. It literally is like holding, unless you're very fickle and you're like, you can tell, which I can a little bit, but now I'll zoom out a bit because I'm starting to move the camera around. But, I just love how crisp it looks. It just, for a portable console, as far as I'm concerned, the graphics are the best that they can be at the moment until they bring out a new portable console or something else that has way better graphics. But this I am completely happy with. This gives me hours and hours and hours of entertainment. If I'm sitting in the car for 2 hours, I'm more than happy with this. More than happy with the graphics. And this is... Saints Row Re-Elected is it's a game that gets you in. If you're into that type of Grand Theft Auto stuff, this is a game on the Switch Lite that just... I didn't think I was going to like it as much as I did. I just downloaded it because I like Saints Row's game. But this actually made me get back into the series of Saints Row games. This actually made me relive the enjoyment of it. The Switch actually gave me that enjoyment of it. And that's why I say they should bring out, and do ports for Saints Row 1, 2, and even Agents of Mayhem would be good. And even the new Saints Row game that they're going to bring out at the end of this year. That would be great. But I can't get over how crisp and clean that it looks. And again, there's all those options down there. And there's your sleep mode. Again, so you got sleep mode up there, and you got sleep mode down here. So it works differently, right? So as you see there, if you hit sleep mode down there on that bottom panel with all those icons, you can do sleep mode, and it just gives you a little bit of information. You can go back if you accidentally bumped it, or go to sleep mode, right? Whereas if you go back, and of course the addition of the touchscreen as well, which was what I like. Now, the touchscreen is not compatible with some games like this Re-Elected, right? It's not compatible with this game, but it is compatible with the rest of the system though. So I hit the home screen button, and as you see there, there's your touchscreen, which is really good. I love that, It's a bit touchy sometimes, like the calibration of it is a bit touchy. I would personally just rather go through it with the controller than I would with the touchscreen, but it is useful in some parts. But when you hit that side panel and you go sleep mode, bang, it's straight into sleep mode straight away. That's all you need to do. That's why I'd rather just hit that home button and just go sleep mode straight away. But very lightweight, very compatible, very nice, big screen. I love the back of it, and I love the durability feel of it. It being all plastic and apart from the glass screen. But I love it though. All in all, I love it. And as you see here, it is that lightweight, that compact, that all I need to do is just slip it into that back slot there in the car, and I can even reach over when I'm in the driver's seat and just pull it out, and then pull the headphones out that are in there as well. which is very good. Very well done. So I'll just sit on here for a little bit. So yeah, I highly recommend the Nintendo Switch Lite for anybody who, if they're working in a like a job where it's practically the sit and wait game. You don't really do anything. You just have to sit and wait for something to do. Like us, where event medics, and when we're sitting there at events, waiting for somebody to present with an injury or whatever as a first aid event medic, you just sit there and you can play this, and then if somebody comes up, bang, hit it in sleep mode straight away and put it down, and you can give them the full attention, and that's what I love. I love that about this Nintendo Switch Lite. It is very good for, just that whole thing of portableness. And I don't get why PlayStation, or Sony, should I say, just completely abandoned their PS Vita. It was, they had the PSP, and then they brought out the PS Vita, and then just abandoned ship on the whole thing, and I don't understand why. I was going to get the PS Vita over the Nintendo Switch Lite. I was. But they just, looking right into it, and even you got these YouTube videos that say, is the PS Vita, worth it, or is it worth buying in 2021? I know we were in 2022 now, but those were the videos that were posted back then in 2021. And people are saying, yes, it is. It's still a very good console, but like, what new games do they release on it? You go on a PlayStation Store on the PS Vita, they don't release any new games. They've stopped releasing games on it. Sony's even threatened to shut down the bloody PlayStation Store on the PS Vita. So why would you want an outdated console that not even the developers of the console even give two shits about? Whereas with the Nintendo Switch, it's brand new. Nintendo pay a very good amount of attention to it. The only thing also, so the Nintendo eShop, these are the negatives of the console. The Nintendo eShop has 98% shit games, very limited on the good games. Mario, either Mario is good, so the Mario games are good. Saints Row IV Re-Elected, Saints Row the Third, the full package, Monopoly for Nintendo Switch, and one of the Need for Speed games, Hot Pursuit I think it is, or something. That's about it. Yeah, that is about it. And then you've got of course, the Nintendo subscription, whatever the hell they call that thing. But you got the subscription, which is, I think, $30 for what? A year, I think it is. And that sounds great, right? But all that allows you to do is play online with friends, really. That's all that allows you to really do. They have all these bonus crap and all the rest of it they're going about. That's the only thing that I see paying that $30 for a year is good for. Is if you want to play online with other players, that's all it's good for. But then Nintendo go and add on and say, for a full year, for $60, you also get this, console thing, right? Where you can play the a whole bunch of Super Nintendo games, some Nintendo 64 games, right? And the other console. I haven't really, I've looked into it a bit, but I'm not that interested. That's why I don't know that many details on it, because I'm just not that interested. The Sega or something as well. You've got games from the Sega system, I think. And I'm just Nintendo 64. Because that was the first console that I ever played as a kid, was the Nintendo 64. And of course, I was into GoldenEye 64. And they have not released that. And I'm thinking, is $60 a year, right, on top of PlayStation Plus and all the rest of it, right, is it really worth it, $60 a year, just to play one game? You got Tekken and... there is other good, Mario 64, Super Mario 64, which was very fun, and I remember that, but I'm like, is it worth it, though? Just to play, like, a couple of games, is it really worth it? And then you got to deal with the storage thing, too. If you run out of storage, you got to get a bigger micro SD card, which costs more money, so I'm thinking, I don't think it's worth it. $60 for a year, it sounds great, yeah, until you have to come up and pay that $60 again, and I'm thinking, just to play like 2 games, GoldenEye 64 and Super Mario 64. or Super Mario World 64 or whatever it's called. I just call it Mario 64. But is it worth it? If I run out of games to play on it, then yeah. Not really, but more desperation, if I'm being honest. You know, I would only pay $60 if I was desperate just to play Mario 64 and GoldenEye 64. But they haven't even released GoldenEye 64 on it yet. I mean, I know that they will eventually, but they haven't even released that yet. They got a whole bunch of, other old Nintendo 64 titles. But, like, where's your GoldenEye 64? Everyone loved that game. Why wasn't that, like, on the list of the first games you released for it? The console simulator, the Nintendo 64 console simulator, where it simulates games into the Nintendo Switch, right, from the other consoles, which, I don't know. I really don't think it's worth it. It is not. But if I get desperate enough, I will pay the $60. But that's only if I have to get desperate. That's what Nintendo needs to get through their head. 98% of their games on the eShop are fucking shit. I'm not into all this animated crap. This fucking Korean shit, bloody games and stuff. I don't like Metal Gear. I don't like any of those games. Your racing games are shit. I just don't like 98% of their games. And people say, well, why did you get the Switch for? Because I needed a portable console so I could keep myself occupied while I'm in the car waiting for Jasmine to do shopping, her hair or her nails or whatever it is that she does. Like, I need something to be occupied when I'm waiting. So, or working these event medic jobs. And I just needed something more in their eShop. That's where the negative is. There's a lot of positives about the console, but at the same time, they don't have every single new game either, because these game companies don't want to port it to Nintendo Switch for some reason. I don't know why. I'm frustrated that EA doesn't even see how great it would be. I saw this little report that the EA, one of the head honchos, managers or something, at EA said they don't see any point to porting The Sims 4 over to Nintendo Switch because they don't think people would be interested. Do you even listen to your fans, you stupid prick? Like, honestly, that's what I got to say. You're a dumb shit if you think that Nintendo Switch users don't want to play The Sims 4 on Nintendo Switch. If you brought out The Sims 4 on Nintendo Switch and even the Need for Speed games on Nintendo Switch, people would love it. And I'm disappointed that the new Saints Row game coming out this year is not being ported to Nintendo Switch. Not even the Spider-Man games are on there, for Christ's sake. Miles Morales, Spider-Man 2 that's coming out, the first Spider-Man game that they've released on PS4. I don't think that's a PlayStation 4 exclusive game. I could be wrong. If I am wrong and that is PlayStation 4 or PlayStation exclusive, then I stand corrected. But still, it doesn't change the fact that there is a lot more games that they could port over to Nintendo Switch and they just choose not to. I don't understand that. I really don't. And Saints Row is so fucking fun, but like, I would love it if they ported every single Saints Row game onto Nintendo Switch. From Saints Row 1, even Agents of Mayhem, I class that as a Saints Row game because it is. I don't give a shit what anybody says. That is a Saints Row game that's just called Agents of Mayhem. So from the first Saints Row game to the new one that they're bringing out and everything in between, I would absolutely love to play all the Saints Row games on Nintendo Switch. I love playing Saints Row the 3rd and even Saints Row Re-Elected, IV Re-Elected on there. Like, why can't we have all the Saints Row games? Like, that's my question. Why can't we have nice things on Nintendo Switch? Why is it 98% Korean fucking shit, Asian frigging crap games that I don't care about? 98% of the games on the Nintendo eShop can fucking burn. I don't give a shit about them. They're all shit, But the games that I do like and the games that I do get on the Nintendo Switch, this is where I go back to the positive, are worth playing on the Switch as a time killer. That's what I use the console for. I use it as a time killer, and it is a fantastic time killer. But yes, would I recommend the Nintendo Switch Lite? Out of 10, I would recommend it an 8. An 8 out of 10. I love the console. and I wouldn't want to get rid of it. You know, I waited a while for it, so, and I love playing it, you know, and I just, you know, it's a great console, don't get me wrong. It's a great portable console. But, you know, of course, the 8 out of 10 and not the 10 out of 10 being that they should have a lot more newer, better games on the Nintendo eShop, and they shouldn't charge you $60 for a year membership just to play, you know, ported over simulators of the Nintendo 64, the Sega, or, you know, the Super Nintendo, or whatever it is. You know, they shouldn't do that. You know, like, I would even love it if, look, I would reckon it would be more worth it, in my opinion. The $60 a year for that Nintendo subscription would be more worth it if I could play ported over Nintendo 64 games and Nintendo GameCube games. Now, if they put Nintendo GameCube games on there, then I would say the $60 is worth it more. But 8 out of 10, I do still highly recommend it. I still reckon that it's a good little, well, actually a great little portable console and a great little time killer as well. And as soon as you find yourself getting hooked and playing it on the go, then you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, that the console is worth it. But as always, thank you for watching this episode of SMS Showcase Nintendo Switch Lite. And as always, if you're not videoing it, it ain't worth shit. Take care, guys.